So, is everybody here? I hope you're all ready to start the next chapter, which is electrochemistry. Semua dah break like 10 minutes or so, right? All right, good. So, my name is Khairul. Sekarang part 3 and the other person is Aisha. Aisha, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Aisha. I'm from part 3 juga. Have you guys
Okay.
take a look on the material given dekat Google Classroom tu? Anybody?
Yes.
Okay tak? Ke ada yang dah try buat? Ke semua tak buat lagi?
Baru tengok je.
Okay, tak apa. So, Cairo will start the explanation.
Okay, so we are going to talk about electrochemistry. Firstly, I would like to know how much you guys understand about the topic. I'm gonna call a few names, random je, to explain to me a few terms. Let's see. Suhaila Desa. Can you explain to me what electrochemistry is?
Electrochemistry. It's actually mana nak cakap dia Malaysia?
Just use your own words. Apa yang you faham?
Ada two types macam cell. Dia melibatkan macam anion apa semua tu.
Okay. Nice effort. To more towards the content. Kalau electrochemistry ni, from the topic itself, kalau you baca the topic, as in the title of the topic, the nama dia electrochemistry. So you have to understand there are two elements in this topic, which is electro, which is electricity, and chemistry, which is chemistry lah. So you're going to study the relationship ataupun the reactions that involve electricity in chemistry. So kiranya nak belajar tentang hubung kait antara elektrik dan chemistry lah, sebab kita tahu memang ada hubung kait. Contohnya dalam bateri kan dalam tu kan ada chemicals, dan kita tahu bateri tu pun produce power atau electricity. So dari that idea pun kita tahu memang akan ada connection between electricity and chemistry. Next, Kamarina Basharuddin. Sorry kalau I'm butcher your name, but I'm just reading out. So I'm so sorry. So can you tell me what is an electrochemical cell?
Yes, electrochemical cell. Sekejap. Dia Kalau dalam sistem dalam satu
Okay, just apa yang you faham bila you baca electrochemical cell.
kalau dalam satu buku tu kita campurkan dua solution and then akan ada elektron yang mengalir daripada satu buku ke satu buku tu.
Nice try. Okay. So dari the word itself, you faham electrochemical cell is macam a type of electricity generator ataupun apa that is reliant upon chemical energy. Electrochemical cell. So, you know, it's a cell. Cell ni kan macam another name for battery. So, yeah. So, what is an electrochemical cell in the terms of what we are trying to learn today, which is that it's something that has two electrodes. Kena ada two electrodes and then electrodes ni bukan dangling macam tu je. Electrode ni mesti kena dip in electrolyte. Now electrolyte tu pun it can be either in one beaker like what your friend just said just now, or it could be in two separate beakers, which will be explained later on. Next term I want Ahmad Zaim. What are electrodes?
Elektrod.
Yes.
Elektrod ni yang saya tahu dia sebagai satu bahan yang yang menyambungkan dekat elektrod tu berlakunya redox lah. Kat redox untuk jadikan sel tu bergerak, elektron dengan ion tu bergerak macam tu lah.
Okay, good. So electrode is a type of conductor. Yes, it conducts the it conducts the circuit lah kan. So macam bila electrodes ni ada, akan ada pergerakan elektron. Good. And lastly, what is electrolytes? Siapa ya? Trying to look for boys. Tapi semua kalau there's someone Nurman Isnin. Can you tell me what electrolyte is? Ada ke tak orang ni? Tak apalah, malah nak tunggu. So electrolytes is something that conducts electricity. Like it could be either in molten state ataupun aqueous solution. So that's where you dip the electrodes. So these terms macam important in this chapter because you have to know these terms to understand the process and everything else. So electrochemical cell ada dua, voltaic atau galvanic and electrolytic. Voltaic tak ada power source and electrolytic ada power source. Voltaic dia gunakan chemical reaction untuk produce electric current. Electrolytic uses power source, which is the electricity, to produce a reaction. So it's inverse of each other. So if you remember one, you will remember the other one. So before we actually begin discussing the questions, ada soalan tentang chapter ni tak? Sebab if we look at the questions, I will ask you some. I would hope you would ask questions based on the questions that we're going to discuss. Sebab by moving on to the questions, I'm working under the assumption that you already know everything you need to know for this chapter. So let's move on to, so everyone, can you look at the materials that was given to you for chapter 4 and 5? So in this session, we're going to teach you how to answer questions kalau you jumpa soalan-soalan ni dalam exam. Again, kalau kita orang explain and you guys tak faham teori pun, you guys being in this class will be useless. So during the explanation, don't be afraid, don't be shy ataupun don't be too lazy to ask a question. Kalau you ask a question, it's either you're completely lost, it's fine. You ask a question, if you're unclear about certain parts, pun it's fine. So we have chosen 5 questions. Questions 1, 2, 3, 8 and 10 to show you guys how to answer the questions. Yang selebihnya tu, you guys boleh buat sendiri. Okay, everybody look to question number 1. First read the question. Always, most important part is read the question sebab from the question, you know what they want. And kalau you tak faham question, you can answer lah. So now question number 1 is, given the following galvanic cell reaction, indicate the anode, cathode, oxidizing agent, reducing agent, and the overall cell reaction. In this case, you have several pieces of information that the question wants. 1, anode. 2, cathode. 3, oxidizing agent. 4, reducing agent. 5, overall cell reaction. So, just like any action, you extract the information and put it to the side. So, letaklah dia nak apa, anode, cathode, reducing agent, blah, blah, blah. And then, once you have a clear picture of what you want, baru you tengok the information, you tengok balik, refer balik the information that's already given, which is this equation. So, zinc solid becomes zinc ion, ferrum 3 plus ion becomes ferrum 2 plus ion. So, kat sini from zinc solid ni dia jadi zinc ion, which means dia apa? One person please answer. If you get zinc macam ni, dia jadi zinc 2 plus, means dia apa jadi? What happens? Oxidation, good. So oxidation is loss of electrons. So that is symbolized by the 2 plus. They lost 2 electrons. So you know that at this site, at this element, zinc undergoes oxidation. And you know for galvanic cell, anode, oxidation. So the anode for this cell would be zinc. Follow And then kalau satu dah oxidation, obviously the other one is reduction. Kalau you nak juga the steps to figure it out, you can see that this is going from 3 plus to 2 plus, meaning it has gained 1 electron. So you know that it underwent reduction because reduction is gain of electrons. So cathode is the iron 3 plus. Iron 3 plus ion. Next, you already know which one is the anode and cathode, which one undergoes oxidation and reduction. from here, you can find the reducing agent and oxidation agent. If you undergo oxidation, meaning that someone else has to go has to undergo reduction. So contohnya sebagai orang, you bagi something, you take something from yourself and you bagi. That means someone else has to receive. So that's how you can understand that because zinc undergoes oxidation, sebab dia nak bagi elektron, dia adalah sebab kenapa orang lagi satu tu, in this case iron, undergoes reduction. Same goes for iron 3 plus, because dia nak undergo reduction, because dia nak receive something, so someone else has to give. So dia adalah the cause for zinc to undergo oxidation. So dia ada correlation macam tu. So by understanding which is the anode and which is the cathode and which reaction occurs at the anode and cathode, you can then understand which one is the reducing agent, which one is the oxidizing agent. Following so far? Kalau tak follow, terus cakap So dia dapat four components out of the 5. The next component they want is the overall reaction. So from there, you construct half cell equation. So at the anode, you know that zinc becomes zinc ion. So the equation is like somewhat given. So zinc equals becomes zinc 2 plus. So buatlah macam notation biasa, zinc arrow zinc 2 plus. Bila dah 2 plus, of course you know that floating around it ada 2 electrons. And then at the cathode, initially it's Fa3 plus, because the final product is 2 plus, so you know it accepts 1 electron. Tapi tak balance sebab kat sini 1 electrons, kat sini 2 electrons. So you have to multiply the equation by 2, which means the overall final half cell equation for the cathode is 2 Fe3 plus 2 electrons equals to 2 Fe2 plus. And then of course you know how to do this already, because 2E and 2E sama kat sini, you can cancel it out. So the final overall equation would be right hand side on one side, left hand side on one side. So zinc and 2 Fe3 plus on one side, and zinc 2 plus and 2 Fe2 plus on one side. So that's all you need to know, or that's all you need to understand in the steps to answer this question. Ada soalan before we move on to question 2?
No.
Alright.
Ada.
Okay. So as expected, you should not have like any confusions on this part. Sebab this part walaupun senang, it's very important because it helps you to understand and answer questions that are more complicated. Sebab most of the questions regarding this topic akan bermula dengan identifying mana anode, mana cathode, and then regarding half cell and then overall equation. So the next question is question number 2. I'm just gonna pause supaya korang boleh move on from the first question and to the second question. Alright, so question number 2A. The question itself, bagi a voltage cell is constructed using the following 2 half cells. So dah bagi half cell kat situ. So question A means write the half cell equation for the reaction that occurs at anode and cathode. So it's basically question A is basically question 1 tadi. So you need to find the anode and cathode and then construct half cell equation. So how do you know which one is the anode and which one is the cathode? You refer to the E cell given, E naught cell. which is for zinc it's negative 0.76, and for um, argentum you get positive 0.80 volt. So you know that if it's more positive it's the cathode, if it's more negative it's the anode. So macam just remember one and you'll remember the other. If you remember in the sense that if it's more negative it's the anode, then you can infer that the opposite is true for the cathode. If it's less negative ataupun in this case more positive, it's the cathode. So you know that based on this, zinc is the anode and argentum is the cathode. And you know that at the anode, oxidation occurs. So the half equation would be from zinc solid to zinc ion. And at the cathode, reduction occurs. So there must be a process where it gains electron, and sebab dia gain satu and satu, dia jadi a whole terus. So this is the answer for A. Semua follow Next for B, the question adds that if the concentration of zinc to plus is 0.45 and Ag plus is 0.002, calculate the cell potential E cell at 25 degrees Celsius. So you know that this is at standard situations or standard forms or something. So given that the gas constant pun dah bagi, and then Faraday pun dah bagi. Tapi you know that E cell can be found through the Nernst equation. Okay, how to answer question B? So kita orang dah label dah ni step 1, step 2, step 3. So just follow it one by one. Now it's very rote in the sense that if you remember the steps, you will be able to answer the questions. So step 1 ni dia extrapolation from question A. You found the anode, you found the cathode. But question A dia nak half cell equation je. So you then need to derive the overall equation. So in this case, the equations tak match up. Zinc bagi 2 electrons, tapi argentum only receives 1. So you must multiply the whole equation for argentum by 2 so that the moles of electron matches. So the final half cell equation for cathode in this step would be 2Ag plus 2E equals to 2Ag. Follow kenapa kena darab 2? Then the overall equation can be constructed again. So 2E can be discarded. So zinc and argentum ion on one side and zinc ion and argentum on the other side. So you get the overall equation. From here, you have several information that you can get. Satu is that 2 moles of electrons are transferred, which means N in the Nernst equation, which is here, can be found, which is 2. Next, step 2, because the Nernst equation also requires you to find the E naught cell. E naught cell ada 2 formula. Satu is E naught cathode minus E naught anode, which is already given in the question. So that's why we use this formula, sebab memang dah ada dalam question. So positive 0.8 volts minus in bracket negative 0.76 volt becomes positive 1.56 volt. Now the other formula is E naught of oxidation plus E naught of reduction. So it would be inverse. Also, there should be a sign change for the anode because the one that is given is reduction potential punya value. So oxidation punya is inverse of this one. So in this, we use the first sebab senang, tak payah nak tukar-tukar sign, so you guys tak payah confused. So E naught of cathode minus E naught of anode. You get a positive value. So now you have most of the elements required to form to fill in inside the Nernst equation. So you get E cell equals E naught cell. You dah jumpa dekat step 2. And then 0.0592 over N you dah jumpa kat step 1, which is electron transfer 2 moles. And then Q, you also get it from step 1. It's the anode as the numerator and the cathode as denominator. Kenapa kat sini square is because there are 2 moles of argentum in the equation. So you just EC the values that you have already found in steps 1 and 2 inside the Nernst equation and solve it like a regular mathematical equation. Final answer would be 1.414. Any questions?
Assalamualaikum Mak.
Hmm?
Saya tak berapa faham macam mana nak tahu yang soalan tu yang kita patut cari yang pakai E naught cell tolak 0.059 per 6 per N log Q ni dengan yang standard punya potential. Dia macam mana nak
Standard
tahu
potential.
yang perlu pakai yang ni ataupun ada satu soalan dia stop dekat sini saja. Dia tak perlu ada step 3.
Standard potential. Sorry, so question dia kenapa macam mana nak tahu soalan tu minta step 3 ke tidak? Macam tu.
Macam tu.
So if you read the question B ni, dia nak cell potential which is E cell. Sebab tu ada step 3. Nampak tak ni? Calculate the cell potential. Calculate the cell potential which is E cell. Dah bagi ni. So E cell ni we can find it through the Nernst equation. Semua tahu Nernst equation tu apa?
Tahu.
Okay, good. So that's how you know. You read the question. Kalau dia just kata nak E naught cell, then you stop at E naught cell. But this question minta cell potential E cell. So to find E cell, you use the Nernst equation. Tapi Nernst equation, dia nak E naught cell, dia nak number of moles of electrons transferred, which is 2, and then dia nak the logarithm of anode over cathode. The molality that is given, which is 0.45, bukan 0.045 0.5 ada error kat situ, and 0.002. Jawab soalan tak? Does that answer your question?
Jadi beza lah E cell dengan E naught cell lah.
Beza.
Okay, terima kasih bang.
No problem. Okay, any problems with question 2A and B? Faham First, a few things that you might be confused about. Faham kenapa dekat half equation for cathode kena darab 2. That one you kena faham. And then macam mana dapat N jadi 2. You refer to the equation again. And then macam mana nak dapat E naught cell. From there macam mana dapat E cell. And then from E cell, you kena faham how to put the coefficients or how to put the numerator and denominator, and whether or not perlu ada power sign atau tak. If all of the things that I mentioned you faham macam nak dapat, then I'll move on to the next question, which is question 3. Same question, same format, just different elements. So again, I'm not gonna explain it in detail sebab detail dah dekat question 2 tadi. So again, read the question. A voltaic cell is constructed by immersing a lead plate into PbNO32 solution at 1/2 cell and a silver plate into an AgNO3 solution at another half cell. So dia dah bagi this value E0 for lead and E0 for argentum. So the question is determine the E cell. So bila nampak E cell, automatically Nernst equation dah kena dalam your mind. So Nernst equation is E cell equals to E0 cell minus 0.0592 over N times log Q, which is anode over cathode. So concentration of lead and silver nitrate at 25 degrees Celsius, then standard conditions are 0.60 molarity and 0.20 molarity. And gas constant dah bagi, ni pun dah bagi. So again, extract the information. Which one is anode, which one is cathode. Again, which one is more negative, it's anode. So the other one is obviously the cathode. Write the half equation and balance the equation. And then identify that how many moles of electrons are transferred, in this case 2. And then other informations that you can extract to make it easier for you is that this part, which is the E0 for both anode and cathode, and also the concentration. And then step 2, again, find the E0 cell based on the formula. Dah dapat, enter the values that you have found inside the Nernst equation. E0 cell dah jumpa in step 2, N dah jumpa in step 1, and quotient pun dah jumpa in step 1. And you can see that there are 2 moles of argentum, so that's why it's squared. So solve it mathematically and then you get 0.90 volts. Semua faham the flow Any other questions?
Nak tanya, kenapa
Yeah.
dia bagi temperature, gas constant dengan benda Faraday tu? Ada function ke?
Kalau you guys tengok notes, before the question start kan ada summary tu kan. So the part where summary of chapter 4 kan ada Nernst equation besar-besar dia tulis tu. So Nernst equation is the big one underneath tu. Yang atas tu what the equation looks like kalau you isi manually. Faham tak? R tu dia dah bagi, T pun dia dah bagi, F pun dia dah bagi. Tapi the function, like to me how I see it is that the Nernst equation is easier for me sebab dia dah add dah benda tu dalam the equation tau. Contoh kan,
Okay, faham.
macam kalau T tu kan, sebab T yang Nernst equation tu sebab temperature dia dah bagi 25 degree Celsius. So you know it's in standard conditions. So if it's standard conditions, you're gonna this equation. Any other questions?
Nak tanya, dekat overall equation tu kenapa AG tu jadi 1 je? Bukan 2 ke AG tu?
Betul. Meaning ada error lah. So it's supposed to be 2AG. Thank you. Kalau ada problems macam tu, just tanya. Sebab kita orang pun kadang-kadang tak perasan ada error. So the overall equation should be 2AG.
Bang, yang dekat next equation tu pun ada error juga ke? Yang 0.0592. Patutnya kan dia over n dia 2. Kenapa dekat situ dia hilang 2 tu? Yang nilai n hilang.
Oh, apa? Kan nampak tak? Itu pun error juga. Kan nampak tak ada macam terlebih 2 kat situ?
Oh,
Kan
okay.
asalnya 0.0592, satu ada satu je. 2 lagi satu tu sebenarnya divide. Sorry
Alright.
Macam apa, in terms of errors like this, it's to be expected and we apologize for that on our behalf. Tapi what's important is you guys understand the flow of the question. Kalau in terms of the flow of question atau the flow of how to answer this question, faham cari N0, cari cathode, cari equation, cari E0 cell and then apply it in the Nernst equation. If that part no problem, then I think the objective is achieved. Okay, for how to answer this type of questions. Hello, okay. We'll move on to the next question. And I'll ask my partner to explain. Aisha.
Hello? Dengar tak?
Dengar.
Okay. I will be presenting about electroplating punya question. Okay. And let's take a look on question number 8. And of course, okay, before this, kalau anything related to electroplating punya question, I will suggest you guys to refer diagram next. This diagram. Okay. Sebab this diagram dia tolong untuk nak solvekan the equation, the question. Macam kalau question tu bagi apa, kita nak cari apa. Dia tolong kita keep on track. Okay. So let's take a look on question number 8. An aqueous solution of copper sulfate CuSO4 is electrolyzed using current of 0.67 ampere for 2.3 hours. Calculate the mass of copper sulfate, copper Cu deposited at cathode, and given atomic mass of Cu 64 gram per mole, S equals to 32 gram per mole, O equals to 16 gram per mole, and 1 Faraday equals to 69,500 coulombs per mole. Okay, the first step is to list down all the information given yang dekat question ni. Okay, based on the question, dia bagi current value which is 0.67 and dia punya time taken is 2.3 hours. But dia bukan dalam SI unit, so we need to convert in SI unit which is second. And then the question asks to calculate the mass of copper deposited at cathode, and also given 1 Faraday equal to 96,500 dengan molar mass of Cu equals to 64 gram per mole. Okay. The next step, we can take a look dekat diagram tadi. Okay, based on this diagram, dia minta mass. The question asks for mass. And then dia bagi current value. So we just need to follow the flow from current to the mass. And then, okay, the second step is to look for the charge. Okay, untuk cari charge, kita ada dua equation, which is Q sama dengan NF. Dengan lagi satu, Q sama dengan IT. Tapi, okay, back to the diagram. Kat situ dia bagi hint dah kat situ. Dia kata dia suruh cari charge based on time. So, bila based on time, only one equation je boleh guna, which is Q sama dengan IT. So, the second step is to follow this equation, Q sama dengan IT, and I is given 0.67 ampere dengan time dia kita tukar in SI unit in second, which is 8,280 second, and then kita dapat jawapan 5,547.6 coulombs. Coulomb is the unit for charge. Okay. And then lepas dah cari charge, okay, let's take a look on the diagram balik. Okay. For the next step is to cari the amount mole of electron transfer. And kat sini pun dia dah tunjuk by using Faraday constant. So bila you use Faraday constant, we need to use one equation je, which is Q sama dengan NF. So we rearrange the equation and then kita dapat N equals to Q over F. Q is charge yang dah ada kat atas ni yang kita dah cari dekat step 2. And then Faraday is the value, constant value. Dia dah bagi dekat question, mostly dia akan bagi. Then just substitute and then we'll get the answer of the number of mole of electron transfer. Okay. Lepas dah cari mole of electron transfer, refer balik diagram. Okay, the next step is to look for the amount mole of substance by using the balance half reaction. Okay, balance half reaction kita guna dekat cathode sahaja. Sebab dia reaction berlaku kat cathode. Electroplating reaction berlaku kat cathode. So we use cathode half equation je. And then dia kata, and then the next we need the fourth step, kita kena cari mole of substance kan. Okay, substance kita is copper. So we just need to do the half equation and then we write balik apa yang kita cari tadi. Okay. Equation yang 2Cu2 plus 2E equals to Cu ni, yang 2 elektron ni maksudnya 2 mole of electron has been transferred. And the previous step, kita dah cari dia punya mole of electron transferred. So dia equals to 0.57 mole. And next, the next step tadi kita kena cari yang mole of copper kan. So we just need to divide by 2 sebab dia ada 2 mole of electron transferred. And then we get the answer, number of mole of Cu is equals to 0.0285 mole. And then the last step, dia minta for mass. Okay. Kalau nak cari mass, we just need to use the basic equation on chemistry, which is mass of copper equals to mole times molar mass. And mole yang kita cari tadi, just substitute. And then molar mass is given 64 gram per mole. And then kita dah dapat mass dia, which is 1.824 gram. Okay. So you just need to refer this diagram, okay? Okay, any question for this so far? No. Back to the previous slide. Okay, you can take a look first. Hadam dulu, tengok mana yang tak faham, you can just ask me. Korang betul tak ada soalan regarding to question number 8?
No.
Okay. So I will continue with question number 10. Okay. The question asks to determine the time taken to coat 3.5 gram of aluminium using a current of 10 ampere in 1 hour during the electrolysis of molten AlCl3, and given the atomic mass of Al equals to 27 gram per mole. Okay. So the first step is to list down all the information given. The question asks for the time taken, and then it gives you the information about the mass of aluminium, which is 3.5 gram, and current, which is 10 ampere. And kat sini dia tak state 1 Faraday equals to berapa, but usually the question will state. Okay, the next one is the atomic mass, which is the molar mass of aluminium equals to 27 gram per mole. Okay, sama je macam tadi, just refer to the diagram. Okay, tadi question ask for time kan? Like you can see over here kat bawah ni, time. And then the question pun bagi information about mass. So kita dah tahu flow kita dari atas ke bawah. So bila we just need to follow this diagram. Okay, first step dia bagi mass. Dia bagi mass and then dia ask to back to the diagram. Okay, dia bagi mass. Lepas tu dia ask for mole of substance. Okay, based on this question, substance kita is aluminium. So how to determine the mole of the substance? We just need to use the simple chemistry equation, which is mole, the normal equation to search for mole, which is mole equals to mass over molar mass. And the mass is given, which is 3.5 gram, and molar mass also given 27 gram per mole. We just need to substitute, and then we'll get the answer, which is 0.13 mole electron. Okay. After get the answer for mole of substance, refer to the diagram. The next step is to look for the amount of electron transferred. Tapi yang ni you need to use the balanced half reaction. Sama je macam tadi, use the cathode reaction. Use the cathode half equation, which is aluminium plus 3E to Al. Why sebabkan cathode reduction, so dia punya oxidation number decrease. So this is the half equation untuk cathode. Then you just need to buat macam tadi, arrange the information given yang ada 1 mole. Yang tadi kita cari mole of aluminium. So 1 mole of electron equals to 0.13. 1 mole of electron ni refer to the mole of aluminium. And then based on the equation, we know that the mole of electron transfer is 3 mole. So we just need to find the value, and then kita times with 3 to find the mole of electron transfer. So the answer will be 0.389 mole electron, and then lepas dah dapat value of mole of electron transferred, we can move on to the next step, which is to look for the charge. Tapi kat sini dia dia bagi kat sini Faraday constant. So we need to use Q equals to NF. Sebab dia bagi Faraday constant, we cannot use the Q equals to IT. Okay, then just substitute yang N ni mole of electron transferred, which is 0.389 mole times dengan Faraday. Then you get the answer 37527.8 coulombs, which is the unit in charge. And then lepas dah dapat charge, we can look for kita boleh cari time by using Q equals to IT. Sama je whether dia minta charge ke, dia minta current or time, we still need you to use this equation, Q equals to IT. So we just need to rearrange the equation, then substitute the information yang kita cari tadi, Q, value of Q which is 37527.8 coulombs, divide by I, current given is 10 ampere, and then we get the answer 3752.8 second. Why second? Because time punya unit SI is in second. But kalau nak convert to minute ke hours ke pun boleh, diterima je jawapan dia. Okay. Any question to be asked?
Nak tanya. Hello?
Ya.
Yang dekat step step 3 ni, memang dia guna cathode je ke? Memang dalam soalan dia akan bagi cathode je?
Sebab this is electroplating. So electroplating basically kita guna electrolytic cell, and then dia punya what we call that, dia punya electrode tu
Wait, so kalau dalam electroplating ni, you know that the material deposit will be at the cathode. So that's why you use the cathode equation.
yes. Dia nak simple macam tu je.
Alright.
Dia basically more to theory.
Okay,
Kalau nak faham lagi, you can just refer to the slide.
Okay.
To madam punya slide. Okay. Any more question? Ada soalan tak? Kalau jangan malu-malu, tanya je. Kalau malu, tanya kat chat. Okay. So, since korang tak ada soalan, korang perasan tak kat Google Classroom ada one section tu dia suruh submit task.
Perasan.
Pasal
And dia punya due tu esok. Okay, so kita orang nak korang buat question 5, 6 dengan 7 and then submit dekat situ. Kalau nak buat yang the last question pun boleh, tapi yang wajib 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
So basically chapter 4 ni senang je. Sebab you just need to follow the formula and then kalau faham konsep, you can just do, boleh je dapat full mark for this question.
Memang tak ada questions lagi So just like Aisha said, to me, this chapter memang something that you shouldn't get wrong, because the step-by-step method that we have taught you just now, that we have shown you, it's basically very direct and very easy to follow. Jadi you guys just kena ingat the step-by-step that we just taught you. And step-by-step tu pun kena faham lah the concepts, sebab kalau tak faham concepts, contohnya if you don't understand that for the voltaic cell that oxidation happens at the anode, of course you're gonna get confused, of course you're gonna get the answer wrong. So please strengthen the basics of this chapter, which is identifying anode and cathode, and then everything else should be fine if you can understand, sebab most of the elements are contradictory to each other. Contohnya kalau satu ni ada bateri, satu tak ada bateri, and so on and so forth. Satu ni dalam satu solution, satu ni ada dalam dua solution. Basically something that you should be able to understand and able to memorize. About when you memorize one, the other one should be something of the opposite nature. Again, kalau tak faham teori apa, tak faham steps yang kami ajar tadi, you can ask them right now, sebab that's the function of this class.
Saya nak tanya pada untuk soalan nombor 1 tu deh. Pasal nak cara reducing agent dengan oxidizing agent tu. Terang-terang lagi sekali je, yang tu je. Saya confuse sikit.
Okay. So this part, part reducing agent and oxidizing agent. Part tu Okay. So, you dah faham macam mana nak cari anode, macam mana nak cari cathode. It's sebab kat sini dia tak bagi, orang kata dia tak bagi the E not cell tu kan. So you look at the equation, you see that from zinc solid jadi ion. So you know bila dia jadi ion means dia lose electron. Bila dia lose electron means dia undergo oxidation. So you dapatlah anode is the zinc because zinc undergoes oxidation. When you know that zinc is the anode, of course you would automatically know that the iron 3 plus ion is the cathode because it undergoes reduction from 3 plus to 2 plus. So sampai sini clear. The next part is identifying which is the oxidizing and reducing agent. So kalau you tak nak serabut in your head about the theories behind it, then you just remember if it undergoes oxidation, then kalau agent pula dia terbalik, dia jadi reducing agent. Kalau dia undergoes reduction, terbalik dia jadi oxidizing agent. Dia terbalik macam tu. And then kalau nak, for me sebab I remember better if I understand the concepts. So the concept is, kalau oxidation, you know that they lose electrons. Bila dia dah lose electrons, dalam fikiran kita, you know that the lost electron must be given to something else. Macam nak senang faham kan? So, bila you dah undergo oxidation, you are giving something to someone else. Bila you give something to someone else, and orang tu terima, maksudnya dia gain electron. Means they undergo reduction. So, sebabkan anode ni, sebabkan zinc ni undergo oxidation, something else undergoes reduction. So, maksud agent ni maksudnya penyebab tau. Nak senang faham, agent is penyebab. So, zinc menyebabkan iron 3 plus reduce. So, zinc adalah reducing agent sebab dia penyebab kenapa iron 3 plus tu reduce. And then inversely, oxidizing agent maksudnya macam nak senang ingat, it's penyebab oxidation. So disebabkan iron ni perlu terima, so something else must undergo oxidation. So sebab dia something else melalui oxidation, so dia jadilah penyebab oxidation. So in the correct term is oxidizing agent. Macam it's easier for you to understand the concepts behind it. Macam sebab dia benda ni berlaku. So kalau dia jadi sebab, dia adalah agent. Okay tak?
Okay. Ingat dulu dek. Okay. Terima kasih.
Sama.
Nak tanya. Hello.
Ya.
Ada jawapan nombor 9 tak?
Oh, 9. Nanti kita orang share kat Google Classroom.
Okay.
Dah buat dah?
Dah.
Okay, nanti kita orang share.
Kalau you dah buat, boleh tak share dekat like secara verbal your process?
Dia sama je macam nombor 9 tu.
So walk us through the method one by one.
Okay. Okay, mula-mula tu kan dia bagi current kan 0.125 ampere. Okay, lepas tu time tu 4 hours tu tukar jadi second. Dapat 14,400 seconds. Lepas tu Nak cari current. Nak cari apa kolom tu Q equal to IT, current darab dengan time 0.125 darab 14,400 dapat 1,800 kolom. Okay, lepas tu
108,000 column.
no. 1,800 kolom.
Okay, betul.
Okay, lepas tu cari number of mole. Number of mole, 1,800 bagi dengan 96500 dapat 0.019 mole elektron. Apa nama dia? Betul ke?
Okay, betul-betul.
Ya, lepas tu kan dia CuSO4 kan. Lepas tu cathode dia Cu. So Cu2 plus 2E. Oh,
Sorry, apa?
okay, sorry. Lepas tu Cu2 plus 2E equal to Cu. Kan 2 mole E dapat 0.019 mole E kan. Lepas tu
Betul.
0.019 tu bagi dengan 2 dapat 9.5 times 10 power of negative 3.
Betul.
Lepas tu mol darab molar mass dapat 1.805 darab 10 kuasa negatif 4 gram.
Mol darab molar mass.
Mol darab molar mass 9.5 darab 10 kuasa negatif 3 darab dengan 0.019.
0.019. 0.019 tu dapat kat mana? Oh, okay.
Sekejap.
Dia
Molar mass. Salah.
Tak apa, dah betul tu. Cuma molar mass tu je. So, molar mass dia berapa?
Mass dia 64.
Okay, and then the final answer will be?
.608.
Okay, betul lah tu. Yang tu dah betul. Nanti yang the rest question tu nanti kita orang share dekat Google Classroom
Okay.
Slide ni pun nanti kita orang share kat Google Classroom juga. Yang kita orang betulkan yang error tu semua nanti, lepas tu baru kita orang share.
Okay, so the two of us will be here until the time is up, and afterwards you guys tunggu kat dalam the meet for madam nak cakap something dengan korang. So until the time is up, you guys can still ask us questions. Okay.
Okay. Korang boleh tanya, jawab soalan tu, and then alang-alang tu you can just ask us kalau korang tak faham ke anything else.